We've all heard that coconut oil is good for dogs, and that's not entirely untrue. But there's something in coconut oil that can really harm your dog's gut, and it can undo all the good work that coconut oil can do. So today, I want to talk about the benefits of coconut oil and how you can get them without hurting your dog's gut and causing dangerous chronic inflammation. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. Okay, now the healthy part of coconut oil is something called a medium-chain fatty acid. Coconut oil contains about 8% caprylic acid, 7% capric acid, and smaller amounts of other medium-chain fats like myristic and palmitic acid. Now, these fats have natural antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal properties. So that means that medium-chain fats can be used as a natural topical antibiotic or antifungal for dogs with skin issues. And there's also research showing that if you give your dog coconut oil in his food, that it can help fight yeast infections and improve brain function and really healthy benefits like that. Now, what's unique about medium chain fats is the way that they're digested. They're quickly broken down by an enzyme called lipase, and then they travel directly to the blood and then to the liver, where they're quickly converted into ketones. Now, the liver can use ketones to feed its own cells and to help it detoxify. And then the rest go back into the blood, where they're used immediately for fuel in the brain and body. And this is great because any other fat is stored as fat. So that's the good news about coconut oil. Now, the dark side of coconut oil is that about half of it is another fat called lauric acid. And this is where you'll see just how powerful lobbying and marketing can be. Up until the 70s, lauric acid was categorized as a long-chain fatty acid because it has 12 carbon atoms. And that makes a difference because the length of the fatty acid determines how it's digested in the body. The other medium-chain fats have 10 carbon atoms or less, which means that they can easily be converted to ketones. But lauric acid uses a completely different metabolic pathway, and it's not converted to ketones. When fats contain 12 or more carbon atoms, it's harder for the liver to digest them, so they just usually get dumped into fat stores. But back in the 70s, people started making and promoting both coconut and palm oils, and there was a big push in the industry, and mysteriously, scientists suddenly called lauric acid a medium-chain fatty acid. Now, it doesn't matter what you call it, because lauric acid isn't digested like medium-chain fats, and it has a seriously harmful impact on your dog's gut. So let's talk about that. And by the way, I'm always interested in your comments and questions, so please be sure to leave a note below. Okay, so there are two significant problems with coconut oil. First is a huge amount of lauric acid in it, and second is that coconut oil is nearly all saturated fat. Back in the 70s, when they started pushing coconut oil as a superfood, they didn't know all that much about gut health and the microbiome. But today, we know that your dog needs healthy bacteria and a healthy gut lining for a healthy immune system. Without this, he can develop leaky gut, which is what happens when the cell walls in the gut stretch out and allow undigested food, bacteria, yeast, and viruses to get out of the gut and into his blood and organs. Now, this causes really harmful levels of chronic inflammation, and you'll see the organs and immune system start to break down. This chronic inflammation is a cause of nearly all chronic disease in the body, including cancer, allergies, joint pain, and organ disease. Now, thanks to gut research, we even know that clogged arteries are caused by chronic inflammation. So now that we know more about the gut, scientists are taking a new look at foods, and new research shows that coconut oil is a real problem for dogs and people too. And here's a few key reasons why. First, coconut oil is a saturated fat. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Most food these days is just higher in saturated fat than it used to be thanks to feeding grains to food animals. So even dogs eating a raw diet are eating a diet that's just too high in saturated fats. So adding more saturated fat from coconut oil will only make the diet less balanced. Now, studies show that diets that are high in saturated fat cause an imbalance in gut bacteria and cause gut inflammation, which can lead to leaky gut. Next, there's a 2018 study from Brazil that showed that lauric acid increases gut inflammation, and it does it more than any other fat. And another study showed that no other fat increased endotoxin levels in the blood more than coconut oil does. Now, endotoxins come from the gut bacteria, and they're supposed to stay in the gut and never enter the body. But coconut oil causes gut inflammation, which lets those endotoxins get through. Plus, saturated fats and lauric acid produce a more toxic form of an endotoxin called LPS, or lipopolysaccharide. Now, this LPS triggers cytokines, which means even more chronic inflammation is going to happen. And because of this, the ASPCA says that coconut oil is harmful for dogs and their guts, and they don't recommend it. So if you're putting coconut oil in your dog's food, then you're probably ramping up chronic inflammation, and any benefits from the coconut oil probably aren't worth it when there are safer foods and herbs that will do the same job. But if you do want the benefit of medium chain fats without the harm that lauric acid can cause, then I'd recommend giving your dog an MCT oil instead, as long as you can find one without lauric acid. Just make sure it's from coconut oil and not palm oil, since we all need to make sustainable choices. Give your dog about 1/8 of a teaspoon for every 25 pounds or so, but just be sure to start slow because MCT oil can cause diarrhea. Now, most of the time, food can be powerful medicine, but coconut oil just isn't something that dogs or people would eat naturally like they would other foods and herbs. So I'd look for more natural antibacterials and antifungals that don't carry the same risk as coconut oil. Now, I know gut research is new to a lot of people, so if you have questions or want links to my research, just leave a comment or question below. I'm always eager to help out. And if you like this video, please make sure you like it, share it, and tell people about it. Thanks for watching.